Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Centipede Geek. You know, years ago I used to make almost sort of like a weekly vlog or a monthly vlog video where I would talk about different movie news when it comes to books and movies and video games and stuff like that. I mainly centered around movies, but it was mainly just stuff that sort of interested me. A lot of it had to do with sort of horror films. As you guys know, I'm a big gore hound. I always like to know what's going on in sort of the horror films. I always look to websites like dailydead.com or Bloody Disgusting and just constantly trying to find out the next biggest, or not maybe not biggest horror film, more kind of the weird, bizarre, and the obscure ones and stuff like that. So I have, I want to start that weekly vlog back up. So I've got 5 or 6 things to talk about. All of this stuff is in the month of October. Some of the stuff is widely known. Some of the other stuff isn't very widely known. It's more kind of a smaller, obscure. There's probably lots of things for the month of October that I haven't covered or that I won't cover, but I'm going to try to cover, at least some interesting topics. Let's get to it, shall we? If you guys don't know, and if you don't know, then where have you been? The sequel to Halloween that came out just a couple of years ago, and they rebooted the franchise all over again, right? We had obviously John Carpenter's films of the 80s, and then we had Rob Zombie's of the 2000s, which no one liked, and I think they're highly underrated in my opinion. Just my opinion. I'll probably get, shot for that. But anyways, and now we have once again, the reboots all over again, and these reboots seem to be a little more widely accepted when it comes to the Halloween or Michael Myers universe. But the sequel, Halloween Kills, according to what I have written down here, will come out the 15th in theaters and will also come out on the streaming service known as Peacock. So if you guys have that Peacock streaming service owned by NBC and don't want to go to the theater, don't want to risk it because of COVID, perfectly good reason in my opinion. You just want to sit at home in the comfort of your own house, grab a drink, grab some popcorn, and turn on that Halloween Kills, because if I don't go see it in theaters, you can guarantee yourself that either the 15th or sometime a couple of days after that weekend, I'll definitely be watching Halloween Kills. Obviously my wife and I have been marathoning the older Halloween films. I believe we're on the 5th one right now, The Return of Michael Myers, and then we'll be on to H2O and that whole thing. If you guys have seen those, then you know what I'm talking about. We're going to try to watch the Rob Zombie ones too. I always liked the Rob Zombie ones. I always thought they were pretty cool films. They're a lot more bloodier and grotesque and in your face and stuff like that. The sequel does change the narrative a lot with the mother and stuff like that, and the sister, and the pale horse and everything. But overall, I always thought Rob Zombie's films were pretty cool. They got the same guy who played Sabretooth I believe that plays Rob Zombie, and I always thought they were pretty neat films. The 2018 one that came out just a couple of years ago was a good film. I really enjoyed it. They got Jamie Lee Curtis to come back, but what this one did was, in my opinion, is maybe in a way, I think it kind of toned, Rob Zombie gave us sort of the in-your-face remake, and this one was bloody and stuff, but it kind of toned it down, in my opinion. It made it a little bit more mainstream. That way a mainstream audience could like it. I like the film, don't get me wrong, but I still think obviously like the older films, and I think I like the Rob Zombie remakes better. I'm a big fan of Rob Zombie, if you can't tell. But from what I've seen of this one, my wife always tells me don't watch the trailer. I always try to avoid trailers when it comes to movies I like. Too often nowadays are trailers that they release 2 or 3 trailers, and the trailers are, 2, 3, sometimes almost 4 minutes apiece, and they release way too many, and it ends up spoiling the entire movie. I've seen little TV spots here and there, so I don't really know too much about it. This one apparently ups on the kills and the gore according to the trailers that my wife has seen, so I'm really curious to see it. Once again, it'll come out in Peacock and theaters, same day, 15th, Halloween Kills. Check it out. I'll be sure to check that one out. Let's talk about something else now. There will be a Chucky television show, if you don't know. Obviously comes from the old movies that starred Brad Dourif, and then we had sort of the newer sequels that had Fiona Dourif in them, the Cult of Chucky and the Curse of Chucky, and then the older ones, Bride and Seed. Never was a fan of Bride and Seed. A little too much humor. I don't mind a little bit of campiness and stuff like that, but just a little too much with Bride and Seed. Especially Seed. Bride I could handle, but Seed. Either way, I will be checking out the Chucky television show. It will be airing on the Sci-Fi Channel on the 12th of October. They got Brad Dourif to come back and obviously play the character of Chucky. They also got fan favorite character of Jennifer Tilly to come back. So it'll be really curious to see what they do with this show, what kind of new stories they bring, backstories, new characters and stuff like that. We've never had Chucky in a television setting, so this will be really cool to see what they can do with this. We've had, TV shows in the past that have, I guess you could say iconic characters such as Chucky with, the older sort of anthology Friday the 13th show. Jason Voorhees wasn't ever in it, so you really can't call it, a Friday the 13th show, even though it had that tagline of that. So this will be kind of like the first, in my opinion, the first television show with an iconic horror villain where the horror villain is actually in the show, similar to Freddy and Leatherface and stuff like that. We've had movies, but we haven't had a TV show that has really dove into this, and we certainly haven't had one recently. So it'd be really cool. And plus, give Chucky, let people of a modern audience know what Chucky is. That way maybe these, young 16, 17, 18-year-olds will want to go back and watch the older films. There's a lot of people out there, especially the younger audience, who probably don't know who Chucky is because the franchise is, 30, 40 years old. So that's Chucky, once again, Sci-Fi Channel on the 12th. There's another sci-fi show that'll be a little bit more probably of an action comedy with a little bit of horror from the way the trailers look, or what little TV spots I've seen for it. It will come out on the, looks like it's going to come out on the 15th, and that comes from a film zombie series of George A. Romero's by the name of Day of the Dead. And I always liked that old Day of the Dead movie, as all of George A. Romero's zombie films go. That one was always one of my favorites, as they have the iconic character of Bub the Zombie, I believe was his name, correct me if I'm wrong, as they try to teach him to talk and play with different toys, and they try to teach the zombie almost like they're trying to teach him a way of humanity in a sense. So this will be interesting to see. It doesn't quite look as good as previous things I've talked about, such as Chucky or Halloween Kills, but either way, I'll be checking it out. I like to watch a lot of horror stuff, and I like the old Day of the Dead film a lot. So I'll be curious to see what they do with this in a sort of modern reboot, modern retelling, just to see what they do with another zombie franchise. Don't know if it'll be as good as the old movie, of course, but I'll definitely be checking it out. Once again, comes on the Sci-Fi Channel in the 15th of October, in just about a week or so. Once again, there's a lot of sci-fi stuff. Sci-fi is really trying to up their game. A lot of times they put out a lot of cheesy stuff, and they're really trying to, I think they're trying to up their game, really. We have, this was more of a cheesy sort of parody satire movie, and this is a reboot of an old film that's actually available on Shudder, the Slumber Party Massacre. And I believe, like I said, Slumber Party Massacres 1 and 2 are both available on the horror streaming app known as Shudder. I love that app a lot. They rebooted the film, and this will come out on the 16th of October, once again on the Sci-Fi Channel. I watched the trailer, and it looked like a lot of fun as the killer runs around with the drill and drilling, boys and girls and teenagers and stuff like that. This one looked like a real fun time that you could sit back with your friends or spouse or your significant other and just have a fun time with. Try not to take the film too seriously, because it's definitely not meant to be taken seriously. It almost reminded me of kind of like the older Hatchet films where it's a serial killer on the loose, and just looked like a fun film in my opinion. This one, not similar to other ones in the fact that it's already available now, and you could stop watching this video now if you wanted to and go watch a film with the name of VHS 94. They had a VHS 1 and 2. I don't know if they're available on Shudder, but VHS 94 is available on Shudder. It's available right now. Either way, I own both 1 and 2. This was an anthology sort of found footage movie deal where it had 5 or 6 shorts, and it had different directors such as Simon Barrett and other different foreign directors and stuff like that. And they compiled these found footage films, and they tried to connect them and stuff like that. 1 and 2 of VHS, I really thought were really cool films. Found footage is something that you used to see in the sort of, in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, there were uh, all sorts of found footage films that came out. You couldn't get enough of it. And it seems that the past couple of years that you haven't had too many. And all of a sudden now, VHS 94 says it's begs to differ, and it gives us another one. So it's been a little while since we've had something like this. Like I said, I liked VHS 1 and 2, probably some of the best films I've seen in the past decade. So I liked 1 and 2 a lot. Wasn't too fond of 3. Remember watching it with my wife and a friend, and I really didn't really like it too much. It was kind of a mixed bag. 94 looks, I can't say this, but from the reviews and stuff, it looks like it takes it back to its roots, and hopefully it'll be like 1 and 2 and be a really cool film. And the last thing that we're going to talk about today, once again, like I said, VHS 94 is available now on the horror streaming app known as Shudder. One more thing to talk about in this video before we go too long, I don't want this video to be too long, right, is we have another Paranormal Activity, and I guess you could say, doesn't really look like a reboot, but it's been a couple of years since we've had that, and I thought we were getting a reboot from the trailer shows. It doesn't seem like a reboot. To me, it seems like more of a sequel, and I believe on the 29th of October, here in just a couple of weeks, but right about the end of the month, right before Halloween, we have another Paranormal Activity into the franchise, and this one's called Paranormal Activity, what is it called? Next of Kin, I believe, and it will be on the streaming service known as Paramount. It's a Paramount Plus original streaming movie, I guess. And what I've seen of the very short TV spot or trailer that Paramount put out is that it shows like these Amish people, and then it looks like it's both found footage and actual movie as they combine the two of these. And you've seen films do this in the past, such as the first Quarantine or the Wreck movies, or REC, whatever you want to call them. They were found footage, and then Quarantine 2 came out, and it was more of an actual movie. So you've seen films do this before, where they sort of combine both found footage and actual movie. It's been a while since I've seen something do it like this, but either way, Next of Kin, I will say it looks like a pretty solid film. It looks like there's some sort of Amish pilgrim thing going on, almost like The Witch or something, and it looks like maybe some sorts of time travel is involved, as it then maybe these Amish people find a way into the future, and they start to terrorize the people. I don't really know. That's what it almost looks like. Either way, it looks like a pretty solid movie. I don't know, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see in the future. My thought on the previous Paranormal Activity movies, I really enjoyed Paranormal Activities 1 and 2. Thought they were solid films. 3 and 4, you could pass on those two. They're kind of boring. Nothing really happens to the last couple of minutes, and they're very identical in their tone. And the endings are identical too, in my opinion. It's not big on 3 or 4. I liked the spinoff, The Marked Ones, a lot. That was a nice turn in the show, as we had a story that took place in Mexico, and you had a nice cast to it. It took us to a different setting, really different actors and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that one. It gave us a nice Spanish cast that I thought was really cool, seeing these actors that you don't normally see in movies like this, as they gave them some inclusion and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. And then we had the ending of the franchise. Didn't think we were going to see another one till now, at least. The Ghost Dimension, Paranormal Activity 5, I believe, or 6, whatever you want to call it. Ghost Dimension, I liked that one a lot. I liked how it jumped back to time travel. It gave us a solid ending to the show. So I like all of them except for 3 and 4. 1 and 2 were cool. They ended the show, or the movie's great, and then the Marked Ones was a nice side story spinoff that was pretty cool. And Next of Kin, we'll have to wait and see what they do with this one. So let's recap. Halloween Kills comes out on Peacock on the 15th. You can also see it in theaters if you'd like. Chucky comes out on the Sci-Fi Channel TV show the 12th of October. Day of the Dead comes out on the 15th, once again on the Sci-Fi Channel. Slumber Party Massacre is an original sci-fi movie coming out on the 16th of this month. VHS 94 is on the horror streaming app known as Shudder. And then Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, the 29th of October, available on the Paramount Plus streaming service. That's all the movie news for this week or this month at least, and maybe in another week or two I'll make another vlog talking about stuff going on. Thanks for watching another video by Centipede Geek, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below.